My phone buzzed in my lap during Sunday dinner. I almost ignored it. Almost. But something told me to look. The message was from my grandson, Malik. "Grandma, don't react. They're recording you. Act normal. I'll explain later. I love you." I kept my face frozen in a smile while my heart tried to beat out of my chest. Recording me? Who? I looked around the table at my son Darnell, his wife Crystal, and my brother Vincent. They were all talking and laughing like it was just another Sunday at my house. But now I noticed things. Crystal's eyes kept darting to the corner of the dining room. Darnell wouldn't quite meet my gaze. And Vincent, my own brother, kept checking his watch like he had somewhere better to be. I lifted my fork to my mouth with a steady hand, even though everything inside me was screaming. "This sweet potato casserole turned out perfect," I said, hearing my own voice like it belonged to someone else. "It really did, Mama," Darnell said, and for just a second, I saw something flash across his face. Guilt? Or was I imagining it now that Malik had planted this seed in my mind? I excused myself to the bathroom, my legs shaking so bad I thought I might fall. Once the door was locked, I looked at my phone again. There was another message from Malik. "Check the smoke detector in your bedroom. There's a camera inside. Don't touch it. Just look." My hands were trembling now. Cameras? In my own home? The home I'd lived in for 37 years? The home my late husband Jerome and I had raised our family in? I steadied myself against the sink and looked in the mirror. I was 68 years old. My hair was gray but neatly styled like always. My church dress fit me well. My mind was sharp as it had ever been. So why would anyone be recording me? Before we continue, please drop a comment if you've ever experienced something like this. We'd love to hear your story, and subscribe to the channel to help us grow. When I came back to the table, I saw everything different. The way Crystal touched Darnell's arm when I sat down. The way Vincent leaned back in his chair, watching me. The way none of them seemed surprised when I knocked over my water glass reaching for the bread basket. "You okay, Mama?" Darnell asked, jumping up to help. "I'm fine, baby. Just clumsy today." But I wasn't clumsy. I'd been reaching for that basket just fine for 40 years at this table. Someone had moved it 6 inches to the left. Someone wanted me to knock something over. The realization hit me like cold water. They were trying to make me look confused, incompetent. I made it through the rest of dinner on autopilot, saying all the right things, laughing at all the right moments. But inside, I was putting pieces together, and the picture they made turned my stomach. After everyone left, I went straight to my bedroom. The smoke detector was right where it had always been, on the ceiling near my closet. But when I pulled my reading chair over and looked close, I could see it. A tiny lens, no bigger than a pinhole, pointing right at my bed. I sat down hard on that chair, my whole body going cold. How long had it been there? What had they seen? What had they heard? My phone buzzed again. Malik. "Can you come get me? Tell Dad you forgot something at my house." Malik lived with Darnell and Crystal, had since his mother, Darnell's first wife, passed when he was 7. 10 years of them raising him while I watched from the sidelines, always welcome for Sunday dinners and holidays, always kept at a comfortable distance by Crystal. I called Darnell. "Honey, I think I left my good serving dish at your place. Can I swing by and grab it?" "Now, Mama, it's almost 8 o'clock. I want to use it for church potluck tomorrow. Won't take but a minute." He sighed. "All right. Door's unlocked." 20 minutes later, I pulled up to their house in Baldwin Hills. Beautiful place, 5 bedrooms, pool in the back. Darnell had done well for himself in real estate development. I'd been so proud. Malik was waiting by the door. He pulled me inside quick and led me to his room. Soon as that door closed, my grandson, my tall basketball-playing honor student grandson, started crying. "I'm so sorry, Grandma. I'm so sorry. I should have told you sooner." "Baby, what's going on?" I held his face in my hands, this child who looked so much like his grandfather. It hurt my heart. They're trying to say you're losing your mind. Dad and Crystal and Uncle Vincent. They've been planning it for months. The words tumbled out of him fast. They put cameras all over your house. In the smoke detectors, in the lamps, in the picture frames. They've been recording everything. My legs went weak. I sat down on his bed. Why? Your money, Grandma. All of it. The life insurance from Grandpa, the pension, your investments, the house. Dad said it's worth over $1 million and it's being wasted on you. The room started spinning. Wasted on me? They want to get power of attorney. They've been editing the videos to make you look confused, forgetting things, wandering around at night. Uncle Vincent's going to submit them to some doctor he knows, get you declared incompetent. I thought about all the strange things over the past few months. My reading glasses going missing, then showing up in the refrigerator. I'd sworn I'd left them on my nightstand. My keys found in the bathroom cabinet. Photos moved around. Food I didn't remember buying. They've been gaslighting me, I whispered. The word felt ugly in my mouth, but it fit. Moving things around, making me think I was forgetting. Malik nodded, tears streaming down his face. Crystal comes over when you're at church. She moves stuff, takes things. Then Dad asks you about it later, records your confusion. I saw her one Sunday when I told them I was sick. She didn't know I was home. How long have you known? 3 weeks. I found files on Dad's computer, videos, documents, a whole folder labeled incompetency evidence. There's stuff from Uncle Vincent, too. A plan. After they get power of attorney, they're going to sell your house and put you in some state facility in Riverside, the cheapest one they could find. My heart broke into 1,000 pieces. Not because of what they planned to do to me, though that was bad enough, but because my son, my only child, the boy I'd raised in church, who I'd sent to college, who I'd helped with his first business, that man would throw his own mother away like trash. And the money? I already knew the answer. Dad keeps saying it's his inheritance anyway, that you're too old to need it. Crystal wants to redo their house, get a place in Palm Springs. Uncle Vincent gets a cut for making it all legal. I sat there in my grandson's room, in the house my money had helped buy, and felt rage replace the heartbreak. Pure, hot rage, like I hadn't felt since the day they told me my Jerome was gone. What about you? I asked Malik. Where do you fit in their plan? He looked down. They're sending me to military school in Arizona. Soon as I turn 18 and they don't need to worry about custody anymore. They've already picked the place. Crystal says I'm too influenced by you, too attached. That did it. They could come after me, but they weren't touching my grandbaby. Do you have proof? I asked. Something I can use? Malik pulled out a laptop from under his bed. Everything. I downloaded it all. Videos, documents, text messages between Dad and Uncle Vincent, even financial projections showing how they plan to split your money. He paused. There's more, Grandma. Uncle Vincent did this before. To another client, an old lady named Mrs. Patterson. She ended up dying in that facility. Her family tried to sue but couldn't prove anything. Mrs. Eleanor Patterson. I remembered hearing about her passing last year at church. Sweet woman, used to sing in the choir. Her kids had said she'd declined rapidly after moving to a care facility. I felt sick. I need you to send me everything, I said, my voice steady now. Every file, and I need you to keep acting normal. Can you do that? Yes, ma'am. He wiped his eyes. But Grandma, they're planning to move soon. I heard Dad tell Crystal they're filing the paperwork next month. Right after his company's awards dinner. Awards dinner? Yeah, his firm is getting some Family Values and Business Award. Big ceremony, lots of important people. Dad's giving a speech about integrity and taking care of family. Malik's voice dripped with anger. The whole thing is fake, but everyone believes it. I stood up, my mind already working. Then we have a month. That's enough. Enough for what? I looked at my grandson, this brave child who'd risked everything to warn me. Enough to make sure they never hurt you or anyone else again. I grabbed that serving dish I'd supposedly left behind, actually pulled one from Crystal's cabinet, and drove home. But I didn't go to sleep. I sat at my kitchen table with Malik's laptop and watched video after video of my own life, edited to make me look like a confused old woman losing her mind. There I was, supposedly wandering my house at night in confusion. But I recognized that nightgown. I'd thrown it away weeks ago. Someone had taken it from my trash and put it back in my drawer for this video. There I was, forgetting where I'd put my purse. But the timestamp showed it was filmed on a Tuesday morning. I was at Bible study every Tuesday morning. I wasn't even home. There I was, apparently unable to work my own stove. But if you looked close, and I did over and over, you could see someone had switched the on labels on the knobs. They'd sabotaged my own stove to film me looking confused. Every video was a lie. A careful, calculated lie. I found the documents next. Legal papers already drawn up, just waiting for signatures. Emergency power of attorney forms. Facility intake papers for a place called Desert View Care Center. I looked it up. 1.3 stars on Google. Complaints about neglect, abuse, understaffing. One review said their mother had died there alone, covered in bed sores. That's where they wanted to put me, while they split my $1.35 million in assets and pretended to be a family values success story. The sun was coming up when I finally closed the laptop. I hadn't slept, but I'd never felt more awake in my life. My phone rang. Darnell. Morning, Mama. Just checking on you. Crystal said you seemed a little off yesterday at dinner. I could hear it now, the fake concern, the way he was already building his story. I'm perfect, baby, I said, my voice sweet as pie. In fact, I'm feeling better than I have in years. After we hung up, I made a list. First, I needed a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. I needed someone who specialized in elder abuse and fraud. Second, I needed to document everything myself, create a timeline they couldn't manipulate. Third, I needed to find Mrs. Patterson's family. And fourth, this was the important one, I needed to make sure that when I exposed these people, I did it in a way they could never escape. Not in some quiet courtroom or lawyer's office where they could make excuses and hide behind legal loopholes. No, I was going to expose them in front of everyone who believed their perfect family image. In front of all those important people at that awards dinner. In front of every colleague, client, and business partner who thought my son was a man of integrity. I was going to burn their whole world down. But first, I had to play the part they expected. The confused old lady getting worse by the day. I had to make them think their plan was working right up until the moment I pulled the rug out from under them. I looked at myself in the hallway mirror. Same face I'd had yesterday, but everything was different now. I wasn't just a widow anymore, mourning my Jerome and waiting quietly for whatever came next. I was a woman with a mission. My phone buzzed. Another message from Malik. Dad just told me to come visit you more this week. He wants me to record you on my phone, just in case we need it for the doctors. I told him okay. What should I do? I smiled at my reflection. Time to give them exactly what they wanted. I typed back, "Bring that phone over, baby, and make sure it's charged. Grandma's about to give them a show they'll never forget." The next morning, I put on my oldest house dress and messed up my hair a little. When Malik came over with his phone, I made sure to give them exactly what they wanted. "Malik, baby, when did you get here?" I asked, even though he'd just walked in 30 seconds ago. I could see the pain in his eyes, but he played along. "Just now, Grandma. Remember? You called and asked me to come help you find your glasses." "Did I?" I touched my forehead like I was confused. "I don't remember calling. Are you sure?" His phone was recording. Perfect. Over the next week, I played the role of my life, I forgot appointments I'd never made. I put orange juice in the cabinet and cereal in the fridge. I wore mismatched shoes to church. The whole congregation looked at me with pity, and that hurt worse than anything Darnell was doing. These were my church family, people I'd known for decades, and they were watching me decline right before their eyes. But Pastor Williams pulled me aside after service. "Sister Dorothy," he said quietly, using my first name like he only did when something was serious. "I've known you for 23 years. You organized our entire building fund campaign last year. You kept track of every dollar, every pledge, every contractor bill. Now you want me to believe you can't remember what day Bible study is?" I looked at this man who'd buried my Jerome, who'd baptized Malik, who'd counseled my son through his divorce. Could I trust him? "Pastor," I whispered, "I need help, but I need you to keep acting like you believe I'm slipping. Can you do that?" His eyes went sharp. "What's going on?" "Not here. Can you come by my house tomorrow? Come to the back door, and don't tell anyone." He nodded slowly. 2:00? Perfect. That night I did my real work. I'd found a lawyer through a friend of a friend, a sister named Vanessa Hunt, who specialized in elder abuse cases. She'd agreed to meet me at her office downtown, late, after her regular hours. Her office was in a building on Crenshaw, 3rd floor. Nice, but not flashy. She was younger than I expected, maybe 45, with natural hair pulled back in a bun and the sharpest eyes I'd ever seen. "Mrs. Robinson," she said, shaking my hand firm, "show me what you have." I opened Malik's laptop. For the next 2 hours, Vanessa went through everything. Her face got harder with each video, each document, each text message between my son and brother. "This is one of the most calculated schemes I've ever seen," she finally said. "And I've seen a lot. The fact that your brother is a licensed financial advisor makes this worse. He has a fiduciary duty to his clients. If he did this to Mrs. Patterson too..." "Can we prove that?" "We can try. Do you know how to reach her family?" "I know her daughter Shanice. We're Facebook friends." Vanessa smiled. "Then reach out. Tell her you're looking into similar cases. See if she's willing to talk." "What about my son? What's he looking at legally?" "Elder abuse, fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, possible extortion. If we can prove the videos were deliberately edited and staged to deceive doctors and courts, we're talking serious felony charges. Your brother could lose his license and face criminal prosecution. If Mrs. Patterson's case connects..." She paused. "Let's just say they picked the wrong grandmother to mess with. How long before we can move?" "I need to file protective orders first. Get injunctions against them accessing your accounts or filing any legal paperwork about your competency. That'll take about a week. Then we build the criminal case. But Mrs. Robinson, this is going to get ugly. Your son could go to prison." I thought about the videos of me they'd created, the facility they'd picked out for me, the way they'd planned to steal everything Jerome and I had built and leave me to die alone. "Good," I said. "Let it get ugly." When I got home, I messaged Shanice Patterson. "Hi, honey. This is Dorothy Robinson from church. I hope you and your family are doing well. I have something important I need to discuss with you about your mother. Can we talk?" She responded within minutes. "Mrs. Dorothy? Yes, please call me. I've been wanting to talk to someone about Mama." We talked for 3 hours that night. Shanice told me everything. How her mother had been sharp as a tack until Vincent started helping with her finances. How suddenly there were concerns about her mental state. How Vincent had brought in a doctor, the same doctor mentioned in Darnell's files, who'd declared her incompetent after one 30-minute evaluation. How they'd moved her to Desert View Care Center, and how she'd died 6 months later from what they called complications from dementia. "But Mama didn't have dementia," Shanice said, crying now. "We tried to fight it, tried to get medical records, but Vincent had power of attorney. He blocked everything, sold her house in 2 weeks, settled her estate, and we couldn't prove anything was wrong. Did your mother have cameras in her house? Silence. Then, how did you know? Because they're doing the same thing to me. I heard Shanice take a sharp breath. Mrs. Dorothy, we found a camera in Mama's smoke detector after she died. We thought maybe the facility put it there to monitor her. We never thought... It was Vincent. He put it there, just like he helped put them in my house. Do you have proof? I have everything. Videos, documents, text messages, and I have a lawyer. Shanice, would you be willing to testify about what happened to your mother? Yes. Her voice was steel now. Yes, I would. For Mama and for you. The next day, Pastor Williams came to my back door at exactly 2:00. I showed him everything. This man of God, who preached about honoring your mother and father, sat at my kitchen table and watched my son plot to throw me away. When it was over, Pastor Williams took off his glasses and cleaned them slow. He always did that when he was thinking hard. Sister Dorothy, he said finally, I've known Darnell since he was in diapers, watched him grow up, married him and Crystal. And I'm telling you now, if you need me to testify in court, I'll be there. If you need the church to support you, we'll be there. This isn't just wrong, this is evil. I need people to witness what I'm about to do, I said. I'm going to expose them at Darnell's awards dinner, in front of everyone. But I need credible people there who know I'm not crazy, who can back up my story if they try to spin it later. Pastor Williams nodded. How many seats do you need? As many as you can get me. Over the next 2 weeks, everything moved fast. Vanessa filed emergency protective orders. A judge reviewed the evidence and was so disturbed he granted them immediately, along with a restraining order preventing Darnell, Crystal, or Vincent from accessing my financial accounts or filing any legal paperwork about my competency. But here's the thing. We kept it all sealed. They didn't know. The restraining orders wouldn't be served until after the awards dinner, because I wanted them confident. I wanted them relaxed. I wanted them standing in front of all those people, thinking they'd won. Meanwhile, I kept playing confused, kept forgetting things, kept giving them footage they thought would seal my fate. Darnell even brought Crystal over one afternoon with more paperwork. Mama, we just need you to sign these. It's just to make sure someone can help you with your finances if you need it. Just in case. I looked at the power of attorney documents, the same ones from Malik's files. I don't know, baby. Shouldn't I have a lawyer look at these? Mama, I am your lawyer. Well, Crystal is. She's been doing estate law for years. We're just trying to protect you. Crystal put her hand over mine. Her nails were freshly done, bright red. I wondered if my money had paid for them. We love you, Mom. We just want to make sure you're taken care of. I wanted to snatch my hand away, wanted to scream at this woman who'd been violating my home, moving my things, filming my life. But I smiled instead. Let me think about it, I said. My head's not so clear today. Of course, Mama, Darnell said, and I saw him exchange a look with Crystal. A look that said, soon. But Malik came over that evening and we added to my evidence file. He'd recorded the whole conversation on his phone, including Darnell and Crystal talking in the car afterward. Did you see her? Crystal's voice was clear on the recording. She's worse than last week. Vincent says we can file next Friday. 3 more days. The dinner's Thursday night, Darnell said. We should wait until after. I don't want anything interfering with the award ceremony. Fine. But Friday morning, first thing, I already have the facility on standby. We can have her moved by the weekend. Malik was shaking when he played it for me. They're really going to do it. No, baby, I said, holding his hands. They're really not. The awards dinner was at the Biltmore Hotel downtown. Black tie event, 500 people. Darnell's company, Robinson Development Group, was receiving the Family Values in Business Award from the Los Angeles Urban Chamber of Commerce. He'd be giving a speech. There'd be press. Photos. Everyone who was anyone in black business in LA would be there. Vanessa got me a seat at the main table, right next to where Darnell would be sitting. She'd also gotten seats for Pastor Williams, Shanice Patterson, and 3 other witnesses. Plus, she'd hired a videographer to document everything, for the legal record. The night before the dinner, Malik came to stay with me. Told his parents he wanted to spend time with Grandma while he still could. They thought he meant before military school. He meant before their whole world exploded. We stayed up late, going over everything one more time, making sure we had every file, every video, every piece of evidence. "Are you scared?" Malik asked me around midnight. "Terrified," I admitted. "But you know what I'm more scared of? Doing nothing. Letting them do this to me and whoever comes next. Your grandfather always said the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing." Grandpa was smart. He was. And he'd be so proud of you, baby. What you did, telling me, getting this evidence, you saved my life. Malik hugged me tight. "I couldn't let them hurt you, Grandma. You're the only one who's ever really loved me." That broke my heart. This child, living with parents who saw him as an obstacle, who were planning to ship him away the moment it was convenient. "After tomorrow," I said, "you're never going back to that house. Whatever happens, you're staying with me." "I've already talked to my lawyer about emergency custody." "Really?" "Really. You're my grandson, my blood, and I protect what's mine." Thursday night came. I got dressed in my best outfit, a navy blue dress suit Jerome had always loved, my good pearls, my church shoes. Did my hair and makeup careful. I looked at myself in the mirror and saw a woman ready for war. Pastor Williams picked me up at 6. "You ready for this, Sister Dorothy?" "More than ready." The Biltmore was beautiful, all lit up and elegant, people in fancy clothes everywhere. I saw Darnell across the lobby with Crystal on his arm. She was wearing a dress that probably cost more than my monthly pension. Darnell was in a sharp tuxedo, smiling and shaking hands like he owned the place. He saw me, and his smile faltered for just a second. Then it was back, bright and fake. "Mama, you made it!" He came over and kissed my cheek. "You look beautiful." "Wouldn't miss it, baby. So proud of you." I saw Vincent across the room, talking to some other businessman. He nodded at me, that same fake smile. These people were so sure they'd won. We took our seats. I was right at the main table, just like Vanessa had arranged. Darnell kept looking at me, probably wondering how I'd gotten such a good seat, but he couldn't ask without looking suspicious. Dinner was served. Speeches were made. Everyone talked about integrity and family values and giving back to the community. I smiled through all of it, my heart pounding. Finally, it was time for Darnell's award. He went up to the stage, Crystal beaming at him from her seat. The presenter talked about his business success, his commitment to family, his strong moral foundation. Then Darnell took the microphone. "Thank you all so much for this honor," he began. "Family values aren't just words to me. They're how I live my life. My mother taught me that. Dorothy Robinson, that's her right there. She showed me what it means to care for family, to put them first, to make sure they're always protected." I stood up. The room went quiet. People looked at me, probably thinking I was going to say something sweet about my son. Instead, I walked toward the stage. Vanessa was right behind me, along with 2 security guards she'd hired and a police officer who'd been briefed on the situation. "Mrs. Robinson?" the presenter said, confused. "Would you like to say something?" "Yes," I said, my voice carrying through the microphone system. "I would like to say something about family values." Darnell's face went white. He saw Vanessa, saw the police officer, saw the look on my face. "Mama," he said, "maybe we should—" "My son has been telling you all about family values," I continued, "while he's been plotting for 6 months to have me declared incompetent, steal my life savings, and abandon me in a facility with a 1-star rating. He's been secretly recording me in my own home, editing videos to make me look mentally ill, and conspiring with his wife and my own brother to commit elder abuse and fraud. The room erupted, people gasping, cameras flashing, voices shouting questions. "Mama, you're confused," Darnell started. "I'm not confused," my voice rang out strong. "I'm 68 years old and my mind is perfectly clear. Clear enough to document everything you've done. Clear enough to download every file, every fake video, every text message about splitting my $1.35 million in assets. Clear enough to find out you did this same thing to Mrs. Eleanor Patterson, whose daughter is here tonight to tell her story." Shanice stood up. So did Pastor Williams. So did all our witnesses. Vanessa stepped forward. "I'm Mrs. Robinson's attorney. We have evidence of criminal conspiracy, elder abuse, and fraud. There are already protective orders in place, and as of this moment, Darnell Robinson, Crystal Robinson, and Vincent Mitchell are being served with restraining orders and notice of criminal charges." 2 more police officers appeared from the sides of the room, moving toward Darnell and Vincent. Crystal jumped up, trying to run. She didn't make it far. The whole room was chaos now. People recording on their phones, reporters rushing forward. The award ceremony completely derailed. Darnell just stood there on that stage, his award in his hand, his whole fake life falling apart. "How did you—" he started. "Malik," I said simply. "Your son. The one you were planning to throw away next." I saw my grandson then, standing at the back of the room with tears streaming down his face. I opened my arms and he ran to me, all 6 feet of him, and I held him while his father was read his rights. "You can't do this!" Darnell was shouting now, being handcuffed. "I'm her son. I was trying to help her." "You were trying to rob me," I said, "and the only person you succeeded in helping was yourself." The police took Darnell away, took Crystal, took Vincent. The whole room watched as 3 people who'd been celebrating family values got arrested for destroying a family. Vanessa touched my arm. "There's more to do. They'll post bail tonight, probably. The criminal case will take months. But you won, Dorothy. The restraining orders are permanent until trial. They can't touch you or your money. And I've already filed for emergency custody of Malik." I looked at my grandson, this brave child who'd saved us both. "Then let's go home," I said. We left that hotel with cameras flashing and reporters shouting questions. Left that room full of people who'd just learned that family values mean nothing if they're just words on a stage. Pastor Williams drove us home, me, Malik, and Vanessa. When we walked into my house, the house they'd violated with their cameras and schemes, it felt different. It felt like mine again. "What happens now?" Malik asked. "Now we fight," I said. "They'll try to make deals, try to paint me as vindictive or crazy. They'll hire expensive lawyers and drag this out. But we have the truth, and the truth is going to set us free." My phone started ringing. News stations, family members, church members, everyone who'd seen the videos that were already going viral online. But I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I sat down at my kitchen table with my grandson and my lawyer, and we planned for the battle ahead. Because this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. And I was ready for whatever came next. The next 72 hours were a blur. The video from the awards dinner went viral. Millions of views across every platform. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. News vans parked outside my house. "Grandmother exposes elder abuse plot at son's award ceremony" was the headline everywhere. But while the internet was having a field day, I was dealing with reality. Darnell, Crystal, and Vincent all posted bail within hours. Their lawyers started calling immediately, trying to negotiate. Vanessa shut them down every time. "My client has nothing to say to your clients. See you in court." The emergency custody hearing for Malik was scheduled for Monday morning. That gave Darnell's lawyers 3 days to try to stop it. They tried everything. Filed motions claiming I was mentally unfit to care for a teenager. Submitted affidavits saying I was vindictive and had manipulated Malik against his father. even tried to use their edited videos as evidence, until Vanessa played the full unedited versions, showing how every single one had been staged and manipulated. The judge was a black woman in her 50s named Honorable Patricia Reeves. She watched everything with a face like stone. Then she looked at Darnell's lawyer. "Counselor, are you seriously submitting falsified evidence of elder abuse to this court as proof that your client should retain custody of his minor child?" The lawyer backtracked so fast he nearly tripped. "Your Honor, we were not aware that the videos were fake? The videos your client created and edited? The videos that are the basis of criminal charges against him?" Judge Reeves looked at Malik, who sat next to me in his Sunday clothes, holding my hand tight. "Young man, do you want to live with your grandmother?" "Yes, ma'am," Malik said, his voice steady. "More than anything. Do you feel safe with her? She's the only person who's ever made me feel safe." Judge Reeves looked at Darnell. "Mr. Robinson, you stood in front of 500 people and accepted an award for family values while secretly plotting to abuse your own mother and abandon your son. I'm granting Mrs. Robinson temporary full custody pending the outcome of the criminal proceedings. You are not to contact your son except through supervised visitation, which I am not inclined to grant unless he requests it." She slammed her gavel. "We're adjourned." Darnell tried to approach us in the hallway. The bailiff stopped him. "Sir, there's a restraining order." I watched my son's face crumble. For just a second, I saw the little boy he used to be, the one who'd cried when he scraped his knee, who'd hugged me tight before his first day of school. Then I remembered the videos he'd made of me, the facility he'd chosen, the text messages about splitting my money. "You did this to yourself," I said quietly. Then Malik and I walked away. The church community rallied around us like I'd never seen. Sister Patricia started a meal train. We had dinner delivered every night for weeks. Brother James, who owned a security company, installed a real security system in my house, free of charge. Pastor Williams organized a prayer vigil and over 200 people showed up. But it was what happened at Sunday service that really got me. Pastor Williams called me up to the front during testimony time. I didn't want to go. I was tired of being the center of attention. But Malik squeezed my hand and whispered, "Go on, Grandma. Tell them." So I walked up to that pulpit and looked out at faces I'd known for decades. Some of them had believed I was losing my mind. Some had probably gossiped about me behind my back. But they were all there now, looking at me with love. "I want to thank you all," I started, my voice shaking, "for the meals, the prayers, the support. But I also want to say something else. What happened to me is happening to elders all over this country. Every year, billions of dollars are stolen from senior citizens by the people who are supposed to love them most. Family members, financial advisors, even lawyers and doctors." I saw people nodding, some wiping their eyes. If you're taking care of an aging parent, check on them. Really check. Look at their finances. Visit their home. Make sure they're not being isolated or manipulated. And if you're the aging parent... I paused, emotions rising. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. Don't let people make you feel like you're losing your mind when you know you're not. Trust yourself. Trust your gut. "Amen," someone shouted. "And protect each other," I continued. Mrs. Eleanor Patterson died alone in a facility because no one believed her family when they said something was wrong. Her daughter Shanice is here today, and she's going to make sure that never happens to anyone else. Shanice stood up, tears streaming down her face. My mama didn't die from dementia. She died from a broken heart because the people she trusted stole everything from her. But Mrs. Dorothy is going to help us get justice, for Mama and for everyone else, Vincent Mitchell hurt. The whole church erupted in applause and amens. Pastor Williams had to wait a full minute before he could speak again. That week, 3 more of Vincent's former clients came forward, all elderly, all with similar stories of sudden incompetency declarations, quick power of attorney transfers, and assets being liquidated. Vanessa was building a case that went way beyond just what happened to me. The DA's office got involved. This wasn't just a family dispute anymore. This was organized financial fraud targeting vulnerable seniors. Vincent's license was suspended pending investigation. His firm dropped him immediately. Turned out, when you're a financial advisor accused of systematically robbing elderly clients, nobody wants their name associated with yours. Darnell's business took a hit too. Clients started pulling out. The company that gave him the award publicly rescinded it. His partners at Robinson Development Group called an emergency meeting and voted him out. Turns out it's hard to do business when everyone thinks you're the kind of person who'd throw your own mother away for money. Crystal lost her job at her law firm. Nobody wants an attorney who participates in elder abuse, but they kept fighting the charges. Their lawyers filed motion after motion, trying to get evidence thrown out, trying to delay the trial. They wanted to wait me out, hoping I'd get tired or scared and accept a plea deal. They didn't know me very well. The trial started in August, 4 months after the awards dinner disaster. The courthouse was packed every single day. News cameras everywhere. Shanice and the other victims' families were there. My church members took turns attending, making sure I was never alone. The prosecution laid out everything, showed the cameras they'd planted, played the original, unedited videos next to the versions Darnell and Vincent had created, showed the text messages, the financial plans, the facility intake papers with my name on them. Malik testified. My grandson sat in that witness box and told the truth about everything he'd seen and heard, told them about military school, about being sent away so they wouldn't have to worry about his interference. Darnell's lawyer tried to make it seem like Malik was being manipulated by me. Big mistake. Son, isn't it true your grandmother has always spoiled you? The lawyer asked. Given you money, bought you things, maybe made you feel loyal to her over your own parents? Malik looked him dead in the eye. My grandmother loved me. My parents were embarrassed by me. There's a difference. Objection! Darnell's lawyer shouted. I'll allow it, Judge Reeves said. She was the trial judge, too. The witness may continue. My dad used to tell people I was visiting relatives when I was right there in the house, Malik said. Crystal told her friends she wished I'd go live with my grandmother full-time because I was too much trouble. The only time they paid attention to me was when they needed me to spy on Grandma. So no, sir, I'm not manipulated. I'm telling the truth. The courtroom was silent. I saw 2 jurors wiping their eyes. Shanice testified about her mother, about how Vincent had isolated Mrs. Patterson from her family, controlled all communication, and eventually moved her to that facility where she died 6 months later. The medical examiner testified that Mrs. Patterson had shown no actual signs of dementia in her autopsy. Her brain was healthy for her age. So what killed her? The prosecutor asked. Officially, pneumonia. But in my professional opinion, she died from neglect and despair. 3 other victims testified. Same pattern every time. Vincent would gain their trust, express concern about their mental state, bring in his doctor friend, get power of attorney, liquidate assets, and move them to cheap facilities while pocketing the difference. The defense tried to claim it was all just aggressive estate planning, and that Darnell was only trying to protect his inheritance. Their doctor tried to testify that my behavior in the videos showed clear cognitive decline. Then Vanessa put her own medical expert on the stand, a geriatric psychiatrist who'd evaluated me extensively. In your professional opinion, does Mrs. Robinson show any signs of dementia or cognitive impairment? None whatsoever. She scored in the 98th percentile on every cognitive test I administered. Her memory is excellent, her reasoning is sound, and she shows no signs of any neurological disorder. Frankly, she's sharper than most people half her age. Then how do you explain the videos? They're fabrications. In each case, you can see signs of staging or editing. Items moved to places the person wouldn't logically put them. timestamps that don't match the stated timeline. In some cases, you can literally see someone's hand reaching into frame to move objects while Mrs. Robinson isn't looking. These videos aren't evidence of cognitive decline. They're evidence of fraud. The trial lasted 3 weeks. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Darnell. Elder abuse, fraud, conspiracy, attempted theft, 15 years. Crystal. Conspiracy, fraud, breaking and entering, 10 years. Vincent. Elder abuse, fraud, professional misconduct, conspiracy, 25 years, plus permanent loss of his financial advisor license and a massive fine to be distributed among his victims. The doctor who'd rubber-stamped Vincent's incompetency declarations lost his license and faced his own charges. When the verdicts were read, I felt Malik grab my hand. We sat there together, this child I was raising at 68 years old, and watched justice happen. Darnell looked back at me from the defendant's table. He was crying. "Mama, I'm sorry," he mouthed. I didn't respond. Some things can't be fixed with sorry. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed us. But Vanessa and Pastor Williams created a path, and we walked through with our heads high. "Mrs. Robinson, how do you feel?" someone shouted. I stopped, looked at the cameras. I feel like justice was served. Not just for me, but for Mrs. Patterson and every other elder who's been abused by people they trusted. If you're out there and this is happening to you, speak up. Don't be ashamed. Don't let them silence you. You deserve better. What about your son? I pray for him, I said honestly. I pray he uses his time to become a better man, but he made his choices, and now he has to live with them. Will you visit him in prison? That's between me, him, and God. We drove home in Pastor Williams's car. When we pulled up to my house, that they'd tried to steal, I saw balloons and a banner that said "Welcome Home" across the porch. The church ladies were inside, had cooked enough food to feed an army. Sister Patricia had made her famous peach cobbler. Brother James brought his famous ribs. Even people I barely knew had shown up to celebrate. "We're so proud of you," Sister Patricia said, hugging me tight. "What you did, standing up like that, you gave a lot of people courage." That night, after everyone left, it was just me and Malik in our house. He'd moved into the guest room permanently now, had decorated it with his basketball posters and his books, made it his own. We sat on the back porch, watching the sunset, drinking sweet tea. "You okay, baby?" I asked him. "Yeah," he said. "I mean, it's weird. My dad's going to prison. But also, I feel safe for the first time in years." "That's okay. You're allowed to feel both things." "Do you think he really loved me? Ever?" I thought about how to answer that. "I think your father loves himself more than he's capable of loving anyone else. And that's sad, for him more than anyone. I don't want to be like him. You won't be. You already proved that when you chose to tell the truth, even when it was hard. That's who you are, Malik. That's who you'll always be." He leaned his head on my shoulder, this almost grown child. "Thanks for not giving up, Grandma. Thanks for saving my life, baby." We sat there until the stars came out, making plans. Malik would finish high school, apply to colleges, maybe study law like he'd been talking about. I'd make sure he had everything he needed. The money Darnell had tried to steal would pay for Malik's education, his future, his dreams. And me? I was going to live. Really live. Travel like Jerome and I had always planned. Volunteer with elder advocacy groups. Make sure what happened to me and Mrs. Patterson never happened to anyone else if I could help it. I was 68 years old, and I'd just gotten my life back. Over the next year, amazing things happened. Vanessa and Shanice started a nonprofit organization called Elders' Voice, dedicated to preventing financial abuse of seniors. I joined the board. We pushed for stronger laws, better oversight of financial advisors, and more resources for families dealing with elder abuse. The story kept getting coverage. I did interviews, spoke at events, testified before the state legislature. Turned out my nightmare could help protect other people. Malik thrived, got straight A's, joined the debate team, got a scholarship to UCLA. On the night he found out, we celebrated with his favorite meal, my fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, and cornbread. Grandpa would be so proud, I told him. He'd be proud of you too, Grandma. You're kind of a hero now. I'm not a hero. I just refuse to be a victim. That's what makes you a hero. Darnell wrote me letters from prison. I read the first few, but they were all the same. Excuses, justifications, complaints about how unfair it all was. After a while, I stopped opening them. Maybe one day I'd forgive him. But forgiveness didn't mean forgetting, and it didn't mean letting him back into our lives. Crystal divorced him from prison. Heard she moved to Arizona after her release, cut all contact with everyone from her old life. Good riddance. Vincent filed appeals, lost them all. Last I heard, he was still trying to convince people he'd done nothing wrong. Some people never learn. On a Sunday morning exactly 2 years after the awards dinner, I stood in church and gave a testimony. The place was packed. It always was now. Our church had grown since the trial. Something about seeing justice happen brought people together. 2 years ago, I thought my life was ending, I said. I thought I'd lost everything, my son, my home, my dignity. But God had other plans. He gave me a grandson who was brave enough to tell the truth. A church family who stood by me, a lawyer who fought for me, and he gave me a second chance at life. I looked at Malik, sitting in the front row in his UCLA sweatshirt home for the weekend. My grandson taught me that family isn't just blood. It's who shows up, who tells the truth even when it's hard, who protects you when you need it most. Amen, the church said together, and I learned that it's never too late to fight back. Never too late to stand up. Never too late to say, no, you don't get to treat me this way. Age doesn't make us weak. Experience makes us strong. More amens. People standing now. So if you're out there struggling, if someone's trying to take advantage of you, if you feel alone, you're not. Speak up. Fight back. Find your people. And know that God didn't bring you this far to leave you now. The church erupted in applause and praise. Pastor Williams had to wave his hands to calm everyone down. That afternoon, Malik and I drove to the cemetery to visit Jerome's grave. We brought flowers like we did every month. "Hey, baby," I said to the headstone, touching the marble. Our grandson got straight A's again. And we won. We really won. I wish you could have seen it. But maybe he had seen it. Maybe he'd been there all along, giving me strength. "I miss you every day," I continued. "But I'm doing okay. We're doing okay." Malik put his arm around me. "Grandpa would say you were a fighter." He'd be right. We stood there in the sunshine, 3 generations of fighters. One gone, one old, one young. But all of us connected by love and the refusal to be broken. My phone buzzed. A text from Shanice. "Just helped another family expose a similar scheme. Your story gave them courage to come forward. Thank you, Dorothy." I smiled. This was my legacy now. Not just surviving, but making sure others could survive too. "Ready to go home, Grandma?" Malik asked. "Yeah, baby. Let's go home." We drove back to my house, the house they'd tried to take, the house I'd fought for, the house that was truly mine now, the house where my grandson was growing up safe and loved, the house full of memories and future and hope. At 68 years old, I'd learned something important. They can try to break you, they can lie about you, they can scheme against you. But as long as you've got truth, courage, and people who love you, they can't win. I'd taken my life back, and I was going to live it on my own terms, surrounded by real family, real love, and real justice. That evening, Malik made dinner. He'd learned to cook from watching me. We ate together at that same kitchen table where I'd first discovered their betrayal, where I'd planned my revenge, where I'd rebuilt my life. "What do you want to do tomorrow?" he asked. "Let's go to the beach," I said. "It's supposed to be beautiful." "Sounds perfect." And it did, because every day now was perfect in its own way. Every day was a gift I'd fought for and won. Every day was mine. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and feel free to share your story in the comments. Your voice matters.